In this episode with Jada Van Staden, South African prodigy. Oh no, I stuffed it up. Okay. In this episode, Jada Van Staden, our South African prodigy and superstar track and field athlete, will be getting to conversation with who is Jada off the track.
Young hurdle sensation, Jada Van Staden, immediately a powerful start there by Taylor Build running on the outside of Kasi Semenya, but Kasi Semenya also coming through.
So tell me something, how did you become this athlete? And how did you find this is what I want to do? And I know I'm good at what I do. Where did it all start?
Well, I think as a kid, my parents and the coaches around me my parents were like, just do whatever sport you want and you can see what you like. And I mean, I played hockey, tennis. The only thing I couldn't do was swim.
Oh, wow.
So netball too, track and field.
I think a lot of runners struggle with swimming.
Yeah, I feel like it's either land or water.
Yeah, it is. I was the same. I could run. I was a good runner.
Yeah.
But when it came to swimming, it wasn't my game.
Yeah, same.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so the only time I'd use swimming was like for rehab. But so my parents were like, just try whatever sport. I mean, in track and field, I think I expected, but I didn't start off with the 400 hurdle or any long things. I didn't start with the 400 either. My main event was the short hurdle and long jump.
Jesus.
So when I started...
What is short hurdle?
So that's like... So when it goes with age too. So 70-meter hurdles.
Okay.
Then 75 hurdles, 90 hurdles.
Okay.
And then now we're on the 100 hurdles. And then...
And you started running at what age?
So I'd say, we all ran at school. Well, most of us as pre-primary and that. But to me, it didn't really count as like running competitively. So I'd say the first time I'd ran competitively was like grade 7. But grade 7. 7 years old, sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the age of 7. And then when I was at the age of 9, I'd ran the under 10 national championships.
Okay.
So when I made it to there, that's when I was like, wow, you can make nationals at like 9 years old. And there I competed in the 70-meter hurdle and the long jump. And I'd won a silver and a bronze.
Were you running for a club, like track?
Well, I mean, at nationals we run for Gauteng.
Okay. So, but this was for school, right?
No, this was like nationals.
Oh, nationals. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
that's insane.
Well, it was, again, with age, I think below 16, you still run schools. Then from 16 and older, you can run clubs.
Okay.
So clubs, I'd say
seniors,
it's more
16
serious
over.
One, yeah,
you're going into seniors.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same with amateur boxing when I was competing as amateur. Once you're 16 over, you're competing with seniors. Yeah. And then you can start finding into championships. Am I right?
Yeah, well, for us, I'd say from 16, you can start qualifying for world championships. You can start running in senior races. But up until 19, you're still a junior.
Okay.
Under 20, you're still a junior. So you move on basically from sub-youth, junior, senior.
Okay. So now if you running at the age of 18, world record times, how does that fit into the scenario with age group? Because your times are world. Yeah. I'm sure you're running world class times right now.
Yeah. Well, it again depends age group wise, but now the age I am from 16, I can qualify for things that's not just counted in a school-based ranking.
Correct.
It can start counting on our system is IAAF system, which is now World Athletics. And then they can rank you there with your times. But from 16 and under your time zone, it counts for you for your own progression, but it's not like I can go qualify for Worlds.
Right.
So even when I was 14 and I'd ran my PBs and it was a good time, it didn't, even though it was a qualification time to go to run the club nationals, I wasn't allowed because that's not how the rules work.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So now qualification for Olympic Games now, right? Yeah. So you going for the world juniors. The world juniors.
Yeah, because I'm still a junior, and actually this world's taking place this year isn't my worlds. I think it's for COVID happened last year.
Yeah.
And obviously Worlds was cancelled, so they've moved it on to this year. and it's given us a chance to actually go. So I'm actually too young for this one. My plan for my Worlds is next year.
But your times are right up there with some of the top times qualification for Olympics, right?
I wouldn't say for Olympics, but for World Juniors.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, when are you leaving for this?
We leave, I think it's like the 14th. 14th. The event starts the 17th.
Now, Jada, you're still 18 years old, right? So you haven't even touched your...
We really haven't. We haven't touched the actual circuit at all.
Yeah. But I'm saying you as an athlete yourself, right?
Yeah.
You haven't touched you haven't even grown or matured right now into what you are
capable
expecting.
Of. Exactly. Definitely not.
So what in your training enhances you? Is it the repetitiveness of the running? Is it how you grooming yourself? You and your coaches are working on getting you into that status when you do qualify for Olympic Games.
Yeah.
How do you get yourself to know that you're going to peak at this age where they normally are peaking for
exactly.
Olympics?
I mean, that's obviously up to the coach and his program or his or her program and how it works. And obviously age plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can't, there's obviously a difference between a 16-year-old and a grown woman at 24.
Yeah. Right.
So just waiting for the right time. And I think the most important thing for a junior or a youth athlete is to just not be run out.
Right.
To actually make it. Because I know there's so many athletes who make it to 18 and they're completely broken. Because they counted their youth career more as to what they want their
That's the scary part.
And that's the sad part.
That's really
so
sad. Many potential athletes have been burnt out.
Yeah.
But that goes down to coaching, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
for sure.
That's where I agree with you 100%. You know, your coach can either make you or break you. Where they're expecting or putting your body through so much difficulty.
And your body's not conditioned for that at that age.
And that's where I find the experience of coaching comes in.
Yeah.
And Wade Finnegate is one of our all-time greats.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've trained with all of them. You train with all of them. You train with Castus and Mia. You've run against her.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all have our own training groups. We all train at different places. Like Wade was in Bloem. I mean, I live in Johannesburg, but I train in Pretoria. So it really just matters where your coach is, and just to trust them. And I mean, just because you have a coach at 14, that's not your coach for your career. I mean, lovely for you if your coach could if you guys could stick together in your program.
Wade did his coach from juniors up, right?
I think he did. I'm not sure.
I think he's just moved on recently.
Yeah,
it's lady from Cape Town. She's one of the experienced.
Tanny Ans from Bloem. Yeah. So I mean, but I think again, a coach can come at different levels, and if you're gonna put me as a 14-year-old girl with a coach who's coaching only seniors at a senior level, you're probably gonna break,
right? Because
the program's too hard for you.
Is it that much difficult? So you're
completely
saying that
different.
Really?
That's why you can go from a 56 runner at 16 to a 52 at 19.
Okay.
So
that makes sense
really
because I thought
it's
personally.
all on the program.
Okay, so
when I was 14,
that's
13,
very scientific in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's why I leave it up to the coaches.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I'm thinking you would actually coach everyone the same kind of way, but you just lag along and try and fit in. Not like that at all.
No, not at all. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, when I was 14, I would not be on a girls program who's 18, 19.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Really and that's why it's also important when you transition to a new coach, the transition you make, you need to be conditioned to go to a harder program. And that's where the injuries come in and everything. So the injuries I had were all just growth injuries. It was nothing I could prevent, nothing I could see coming.
What injuries were those?
I had a bad foot injury. I had plantar fasciitis in I think it was my right foot. Yeah, right foot, which is a really bad tendonitis.
Wow.
And
can they hinder people's careers?
Sure.
Can they?
Yeah, because I mean, if you have the right medical team around you, that helps so much. But when I got mine, we went through 15 doctors. No one could find what was wrong because right after my foot, I got a hip injury. And the hip was a growth spurt. So the muscle actually detached from the bone. like this. And I mean, it's nothing.
Was it surgery or?
No, luckily no surgery. It could grow back. So it was a fractured hip, but luckily it wasn't broken.
Wow.
And it was literally nothing I could do. Just me carrying on day to day. Your body's growing and there's nothing you can stop. But they definitely won't interfere. Like now they're gone. They're done. They dealt with. Good team around me. The only thing is like if somebody could have seen it coming or caught it earlier, that would have helped a lot. But then when I got my hip injury, I was actually told I tore my obliques. And so, like I said, I saw 14 to 15 doctors moving up and down. We went to Potch, we went to Paris, we went to Sandton, Rosebank, Pretoria. We went from everywhere. And eventually a doctor literally took an x-ray. They even sent me for MRIs, couldn't find nothing.
Wow.
And a doctor took an x-ray and found the smallest crack in my hip. And I was out for about a year and a half with both of these. I missed the whole, when I was 15, I missed that whole season.
Okay.
When I was 16, COVID hit. And now I'm in my 17-year-old season.
And how did you take it mentally? It must have been...
Well, it did, because I mean, you know what, during the injury, I think that's what hits you, because it happened to me during the season. So I see all these people running, and I'm like, oh, I could have been there. I could have been doing that. I could have ran that time. Do you get what I mean? And then I think when it's obviously terrible during it, because you're like, I wish I could just be running pain-free. Like, there came about 2 years almost, when I was between 15 and 17, that all I ever prayed for and wished for was to run pain-free. And it wasn't even injuries that could, like I said, it won't hinder my performance going forward, but it wasn't caught early enough. But now it's over. It's good. Training's going good. But I think after the injury, just going into competitions, you mentally think, okay, all these girls on the line raced last year. They know where they are. They've been training. They know what their times. They know their progress. I've got like a year missing, like record missing. Do you get what I mean? Like I don't know what my time is. I don't know what state my body's in. I mean, you know what you're training in that, but when you get into a race, it's different because now there's competitors. If I'm running alone, great, because I can't lose.
Right.
And nobody wants to lose.
No.
And you want to do your best in your race.
But that's what I want to get to, is the mental side of the sport.
Yeah.
That must be quite tough.
No,
because as I'm speaking to you, I can hear a lot of mental, and I always say this, it's more mental than physical.
Definitely.
You do the hard work.
For sure. There's been so many races where I'm not physically ready at all, but because I was so mentally strong and determined that I can do it, I did it.
You see, it's
but
amazing.
I promise you, like, my body wasn't conditioned to run that time at all. And then I would run it just because mentally I was like, I can do it today. And then there's races where I'm completely conditioned
right.
on like perfect program, everything, and your mental state's just not there at all. And I think one of the hardest things for me mentally is like when I was completely fine up until 16. I got the injuries. And I remember waking up for a race and I started having stomach runs, vomiting, like difficulty breathing. And I thought, wow, like my friend had a stomach bug a week ago and I saw her. So maybe I've got the stomach bug. Went to the race, was about to go warm up, vomiting. I was like, what is going on? I think I have a stomach bug. And obviously it's not nice to walk back to the team and be like, guys, I think I have a stomach bug. I can't warm up. Like I had to run to the bathroom the whole time to vomit. I couldn't warm up. So I withdrew from the race and I left and I went home. And when I got home, I was fine. So I was like, if this was a stomach bug, it would be here now. Like, why is it not here? It was just there.
So it was all due to the race.
Yeah, and was gone. I didn't think of anything of it. I carried on training. 2 weeks later was it's the qualifying championship to get to nationals. So it's the race right before nationals. So you qualify there and you move through to nationals, okay? And I remember, I think it was like 5 a.m. and I woke up vomiting. And I was like, I think this is nerves. Like, I think I've just hit like bad nerves. And like I said, I wasn't thinking anything of this. And then I got in the car and then from the vomiting and running out of energy, you kind of go into this coma state. Like you kind of just lay there, you're not listening to anyone around you. You're just figuring out where you're going to find energy to now run a 400 hurdle. I mean, I think I could still get away with it if it was a 1 and 2. But now that it's a 400 hurdle, I've just vomited out everything I've eaten. How am I going to find energy? And I got to the track, again, vomiting, can't get to warm up.
Jeez,
and I eventually fainted. So it was really hot that day. My friend bought me an umbrella And I thought, okay, let me sit, let me try to calm down, do some breathing. Like, I've never experienced this before. Now it's come, and like, if I don't fix it right now, I'm not going to nationals.
Damn.
And I was sitting there and I was under the umbrella and I actually passed out. And my parent, or my mom, was looking for me. And the girls were standing on the start line and I wasn't there.
What?
And my mom came to the call room and I passed out under this umbrella. And she woke me up and she's like also in a state. She's in a complete state because she can't understand why I'm vomiting nonstop. And like, I'm shaky, I don't want to run, I'm negative, I want to cry. And it was all signs of anxiety. So afterwards, my mom called my agent. She's like, even my coach freaked out. They're like, I don't know what to do with this girl.
Really?
She's vomiting, she's not running. What are we going to do? And that's when I started working with my sports psychologist. And I think the anxiety definitely developed from the injuries because I was kind of nervous going onto the line, not knowing what I'm capable of right now. Like, I know what I'm capable of, but I don't know what I can do right now.
And you got the will to win. That's what you're struggling with. It's like the will to win, but am I ready?
Yeah.
So you got this imbalance of like... I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I got up, ran my 400 hurdle race. It actually wasn't that bad besides for the way I was feeling. I mean, my mom said that before that race to my dad, she was like, if this girl gets over the first hurdle, I'll be so proud of her.
Really?
Like, that was the goal for that race.
That's insane.
To get over the first hurdle. And I finished the race, everything was fine. And then I had another race afterwards. So the race afterwards was the short hurdle, the 100 hurdle.
Okay.
And
so you're doing the 400 and the 100.
Yeah.
You're running two races.
No, so my main event's the 4 flat and the 4 hurdle.
Okay, 4
but I
flats.
can't run it on the same day.
Correct.
It's just too hot. It's too much.
Yeah.
Like, I can, but you're not going to get great times. So then I decided to do the 4 hurdle and then switch between the 200 and the 100 hurdle. Or whenever I get a chance, I'll do the 400 flat. So this season I ran 4 hurdle and 200 because there was the hurdle height lifted and I didn't want that to interfere with my actual race, the 4 hurdle.
Okay.
So I didn't have time to prepare for the 100
What
hurdle.
do you mean lifted?
It gets higher.
Why? They've changed the rules or is
No,
it
just as you get older, the hurdle height gets higher.
Oh, because of your age group going up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for now on the 4 hurdle, that's the ultimate height. Like, that's what I run.
Right.
But the 100 hurdle this year got one more higher and that's your ultimate height. So
Wow, how high is a hurdle?
I mean,
At the ultimate height.
It's not high at all. Like, the men's are like,
I've seen it on track before. It's
but
insane.
the girls, I mean, if you're short, you're probably going to struggle.
But if you're running
But I'm
at
pretty
flat
tall,
out speed, to even jump that hurdle must be
well, that's why it takes so much technique and like, I promise you, someone can be way faster than you in a 4 flat. But if you don't have technique, like, take a 4 flat runner and run someone who can just do a short hurdle, they'll still beat you because of the technique.
Oh, wow.
Like, it really takes
explain
a lot.
this to me, because, and I'm sure that you're going to explain this to viewers as they can understand hurdles and everything. So I'm running 100, so the 100 flat hurdles, right?
Yeah.
And I drop 2 hurdles along the race. Does that work against me or?
Well, it's going to make you slower because you're hitting the hurdle.
Okay, but what if I win the race, but I've dropped, say, 2 hurdles?
That's fine. You can hit all of them if you want to.
Oh, so you can knock him down and still
You can
win the
hit
race?
everyone as long as you stay in your lane and as long as your hurdle didn't interfere in someone else's race. Then you're okay.
Okay, I was thinking there's a pointed, most probably a fraction of time added on if you're knocking down hurdles. No.
No, for sure.
Oh, so the air.
That's why you don't want to knock it.
So if you do knock a hurdle
They
down,
don't add it. You're
you
gonna get slower.
you automatically
because you hit the hurdle.
Is there much
your
of a
technique's
difference?
gone. You're off balance. You've just lost your momentum. Now you need to somehow, from when you hit this hurdle, find more momentum to go forward.
Yeah.
So, and the other guys already have momentum, so you're already far behind.
So it's obviously.
So you want to get as low as you can, but you don't want to hit it. And I've hit a few.
Have you?
and fallen
and won the race. Have you fallen in the race?
Yeah, I've fallen in I think 3 or 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is your highlight so far in your career? Because listen, I'm so happy to have you on the show because
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm gonna one day say I've had a gold medalist and I'm gonna have you again when you get the gold medal. And I just want to ask you for now, what has been your highlights of your career? Like what stands out for you in running, in track and in competition?
For me right now, it's just taking all the little things from every race. And I think my highlight of my career is still coming. Like, I don't want to say I have a highlight now because I really have enjoyed all the races that have come. I mean, it's been like an honor to run against people like Caster Semenya and to learn with people like Wenda Nell.
Stepping back on that, what was that race about?
It's actually my agency hosted a shootout called the Newton Shootout. And we all ran a 300 meter together. So you just get selected and it's 8 lanes and these 8 ladies run against each other. And it's any age group. So that's why I ran.
How did you feature? Was it like
I came 4th.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
And what was it? What distance?
Yeah, 300 meter.
300 meters?
Yeah, I think she broke the 300 SA record that day.
Who? Caster.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I met her. She's amazing.
She's so cute.
She's amazing.
Do you know how
I met her
at
at UJ, by the way.
Yeah,
it was,
that's where we ran.
Yeah, oh really?
Yeah, that day was.
And she was training there. You know, I could see she was very shy. You know, and it's actually, it's kind of very sad how people actually have placed her career.
I know.
It's not about anything else except how they've judged her career.
I know. I think just excluding all the medical things, the testosterone and everything like that. Just the person herself, do you think she doesn't train? Of course she does. I mean, I see her training at Tux. She trains so hard every day.
She's a freak of nature.
I mean, just because I don't know what the specifications are with her testosterone things, and I'm not going to speak on that, but just she must have talent. She's that good.
No, she's great.
She trains.
I saw her
doesn't come out of
practicing.
nowhere.
Yeah, we saw her practicing.
Then why can't any guy just be good? Because he has testosterone.
Correct.
He must train and he must have the talent.
That's true.
So it's just not fair how they. Sometimes
and I'm sure it's a holdback in her life with performance because she's almost feeling like guilty about
winning.
You
have to feel guilty about being great.
Because, like, you know what? If the better I do, the more I'm going to be judged as not fairly qualifying as for this race.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
it's not fair.
It doesn't make sense.
My biggest point has been like, if they think Caster has this big advantage, how has she not broken the world record?
Correct.
Then, how unfair was it that this girl who's holding the record, was the advantage she had if you're saying Caster has this huge advantage, but she's literally not beat this girl's time. So it's just, but she's a lovely person. So like I said, just going through athletics and just learning about everything. Because I think like one of the first things my agent told me when I met with him was like, enjoy it now because it becomes too serious. And you don't want it to get like that.
That's exactly what I tell my
And it's not as serious now. Like I remember when I was 14, I'd be so nervous. Like, I need to win this race. Now, I don't even think I remember that race.
Wow.
Because like, I was 14 and yes, it counts for your progression. But I don't think it's necessary for a young athlete to put that much pressure. I'm saying this, I'm not taking my own advice and I probably should.
No, but you know what, in all, and like you say, it's a journey because as you're going along, you're finding out about yourself and the experiences you're gaining from, and sport is life. Yeah. You're not only learning about life, you learn about life in sport. And that's what I found. My character...
Like, even if you're not good at it, it shapes you.
Exactly.
It really does. Like, I would always encourage anyone around me, go and do sport.
Yeah. Because it builds your character.
As long as you're in school.
Yeah.
And I've always said to, like, all my friends who get involved with peer pressure, the drinking, clubbing, smoking, I'm like, can you give your body 20 years just to develop? Let it grow. It does so much for you. Just let it grow, and then after 20 or after your career, make a career for yourself, build an empire for yourself, and then go have fun with it.
My dad gave me the most amazing food for thought, and he said, what you do in your early days of your career is the payoff for your later days.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought about it, I said, wait a minute, that makes sense because so many guys start at a young age smoking, drinking that because they don't have direction or they've never given themselves the opportunity to try and do something, it's like, what's your why? I always ask people, what's your why? Yeah. What am I here for? What is my gift? What is my talent? What can I give forward? Yeah. It's not about trying to outdo others, but trying to outdo yourself.
Exactly.
Try and give of yourself.
Yeah, and just be better for you.
Correct. And that's what makes your purpose greater. Yeah. And I think life without purpose is really, really sad because that's why people do not know value of
what
life.
They want to do,
Correct.
Yeah, and it's sad. Like me as a sports person I've never been into the whole scene of. I mean, I get so upset when I see, let's say I'm at a friend's party or something. I literally get like, pain in my heart for seeing someone standing there vaping or drinking or carrying on. And I'm like, I mean, sport is hard, like really hard, and it's hard to keep going. I mean, even for me, like school-wise, it's hard to join in the school trying to turn pro, because obviously you want to do that as your profession, and you need to put all the work now. And even though you're not a pro now, you're doing everything a pro needs to do to get to a pro. Like obviously, I mean, I'm not the pros. Everyone works hard, and like just because you're not a pro now, you still need to put in all that work to get there. And it's just sad for me to see all those people doing that. And sometimes I think to myself, gee.
And there's potential people that do that.
Exactly.
They just force themselves into a lifestyle because everyone else is doing it.
And they have no guidance, and they don't have anyone to push them into it. Like my parents have always pushed me into it. They said, do that.
Yeah.
Like go do sport. And so, like I said, when I think and I'm like, wow, sport is hard. Do I really want to do this as a career? Then I think, okay, well, I can get up now, get dressed, go into a club. Like that's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
So why do you want to go to do something that easy?
Yeah.
Go and do something that's going to get you somewhere.
Yeah. And the funny thing about what I realized about the great Nelson Mandela, he was big on sport because he even used it in a political sense, how it brings people together.
It does.
The environment's
For
positive.
Sure.
It just unites everything and it makes things greater in life.
Yeah.
You know, the purpose. Fans come to watch even.
Yeah.
It's just all for the greater purpose.
Just everything about it. And I think the biggest gap I'd seen between someone who doesn't do sport and someone who do sport was huge. Like when obviously I'm a sports person, and when I went to an English school and none of those kids were doing sport. I mean, they were doing sport, but they were kind of forcing themselves to do it just because the school wants them to do it. They weren't doing it on a level of sporting.
Well, they weren't trying to find out what
they weren't
their
doing it
sport
for themselves.
was.
Like they don't train for it or anything, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was actually crazy to see the gap between a sports person and someone who doesn't do it.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Like sport can completely change you. It doesn't matter if you're good or not, as long as you're doing it and you're trying, you're pitching up to practice, you're getting the social life of sport. I mean, I promise you now with COVID, sport doesn't feel like sport. The social part made sport. And that's what's nice. I mean, you can go to meetings and you get to, I mean, it's not, obviously some Saturdays you just want to chill and maybe just see a few friends and just chill, you know. But then you go to the sports meeting, all your friends are there.
So true.
So it's nice. So like, yes, you're going to race, it's hard, it's tiring, it's a bit, you're a bit scared, you're nervous, you know. But then when you're done with your race, you're with your buddies, you're all supporting each other, everyone's screaming for one another. It's just nice to see everyone like unite together and actually support someone else.
Yeah.
It's
Jada,
nice to see that.
I want to ask you, so moving forward, what is your goals that you're looking forward to accomplish right now in running? Because, you know, a lot's happening in your career right now because you are off to Kenya. When is that? October?
Or literally 3 weeks.
Oh, so you got 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
So you're looking August, right?
Yeah,
August.
14 August we leave.
Wow, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How's the training going?
It's like 3-4 weeks. Everything's going really well.
Really?
Yeah.
Injuries?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, I saw my physio the other day. She's really happy.
Wow.
And like, there's nothing more fulfilling when your coach is happy, your physio's happy, your agent's happy, and your sports psychologist happy.
Wow.
Like for me, I'll run a time trial training and I won't be happy with it unless my coach is happy with it. Because like your coach knows what, if you're running this time now, he knows what you can run. So when you just come over the line and you look back at your coach and you see he's happy with that time, it's a nice feeling because you know, okay, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice. And that's why it's important to have someone who's honest with you in the training programs.
What are you setting for this race coming up? You're running only the 400, right?
Only the 400.
Four hurdle?
Yeah.
No other race for this?
Probably maybe the relay.
Okay. Yeah. 400 relay.
I'm not too sure. They haven't sent out the official squad yet.
Oh, so you don't place what you're going to race beforehand? You do.
Like I know I'm going to run 4 hurdle.
But your major's 4 hurdle.
Yeah, but the actual, like, the preparation squad's out. The actual squad, then they only add in the relay teams. So it might be a relay, might not, but I'm not planning for any of that. I'm literally I'm going there for my 4 hurdle.
And tell me something, the goal for, well, put it this way, what is the world record standing at in this race?
For my age group?
For your age group.
I think it's 5th. I don't even know. You're
not worried about in that?
No.
Would it be a goal for you to go and try and break the world? No?
No, I think I
Just
just
to
want to. Do you know what the thing is? Like I said, this year isn't my worlds. Next year is, and for me, I don't want to just take it as, oh, I'm actually just like, it's just a bonus to go to this one. I want to go to it. I want to stick to my plan, and I know if my plan works, I can achieve what I want to achieve.
Right.
There.
You got your head on your
So-
shoulders.
For sure.
Because that is
Yeah.
and listening to that, that's amazing. Because you are going with the right attitude.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
attitude
and
is
along
going to...
with it, it's pointless for me to go, oh, I'm just going there for the experience, see how it works, see who's there. Like, you're getting that anyways while you're racing. So go there, race, do well. And I think we actually got the program today.
Okay.
And I race 2, 3, and 4, so 3 days consecutively.
Wow.
So I think...
So what, it starts
go
for
day by day.
qualifications?
Yeah, heats,
Qualifications, heats, right?
semi-final, final.
And then final.
Yeah.
And what's the gaps in between? Is it day by day? Or is it...
Yeah, I think I run 11:30, day 2.
Okay.
3:45 on day 3. And nearly 5
So
o'clock on
back
day
to
4.
back. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on this experience that you've had, what experiences have you had internationally on track?
Well, I've always been too young.
Okay. So you haven't
Because-
this is your first international.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I said, below 16, you're too young.
Yeah.
Then at 16, well, I first had the injury. Then COVID hit.
Mhm.
So it's not like you could do anything.
Okay.
And now it's the first time we can actually get back to normal.
Right.
And like I said, previously, I would have only been at Worlds next year.
Mm.
So it's nice for me to go this year. And I was really looking forward to going and because the rumors around was Kenya's crowd so amazing. So I don't know if they'll bring in a crowd. I'm hoping so.
Yeah. But
So-
are you, what's the procedure moving forward with the COVID? Is there, you guys are under lockdown,
Yeah.
like in the bubble?
Well, it was so hard to train because, like I said, the
Mm.
previous race when we were speaking of the whole mental health thing, and after that 400 hurdle, I had the 100 hurdle race.
Right.
And I luckily managed to calm my anxiety down, get my mind together and race.
Mm.
And I ran a world lead time, and I'd only trained that race for 4 days because we didn't have time to train it. It was last minute decision to go run it. Because our main focus was 4 hurdle. We realized, okay, we can't do the 400 with it. So what are we going to do? And they were like, okay, let's do the short hurdle. So we did that, trained for it for 4 days. And I went and raced it. And luckily got myself mentally right. Because I know on that day I was standing there. I was like, okay, I don't have energy. I've just vomited so much. I've now ran the 400 hurdle.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad threw a ball 1 over the fence.
No
And
way.
he's like, just eat this and go run. And I walked to the starting line. And I just remember standing there and I was like, I can do this. Like, I can win this race today. Even though it's not my event, I'm not going to feel insecure that this isn't my event. I can run a hurdle. I can run a 100 meter. Put it together. I can run a 100 hurdle today.
Yeah. It's
And
insane.
so that went nice. And like I said, moving on from that,
Yeah.
I was always too young to go to any international competitions.
Okay.
So-
I thought there was like a junior World Series.
Yeah, there is. Well,
What about
there
Junior
was a
Olympics? What's the Junior Olympics?
There was
like?
a youth worlds that was
Yeah.
cancelled. Now there's only junior,
Okay.
and there's a youth Olympics every 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
Oh,
won't
wow.
be a youth anymore.
Yeah, but
so-
you won't be youth then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now tell me, your family is amazing. I met them. I love them. They're great people.
Yeah.
And you're a twin
Yes.
to a brother.
A boxer.
And a track, and he runs track.
Well, you've just taken him away
Yeah,
from track.
I'll just start taking over.
Yeah.
But now, also a good runner, but sister still runs, brother. Now, this is funny because your other brother, Slay, he's a runner as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now he's a younger brother.
Mm.
So is he following the tracks of the same? I'm sure he's.
I mean, like, we all
no,
we
yeah,
all want to do our own thing.
correct.
So, like, if I'm gonna say my younger brother is like following my footstep, I know he'd be very offended because he did get offended once when someone
Oh, he
said
did.
that.
Okay.
So,
Cut,
Slade's-
Mark. Yeah.
he's doing his own thing.
Right.
Gary was running the 800, my twin,
Yes.
and he's moved on now to the boxing. He's loving that.
Yeah.
And it's actually strange. Like, he's my twin, but he's an 800 runner, and I will never do an 800. I mean,
It's a tough race.
I've
I
met-
used to
a
run.
lot of coaches were like, "This girl's an 800 runner," But I just find it would be a waste of my speed to move over to an 800.
Yeah,
But I
'cause
definitely think I'm going to try it.
What, 800?
Yeah, like I
Really?
think a preseason race, I'm going to go do it. It's good for like preseason training.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to go do it and
But
see.
now
how
sprints is, I mean, running's running in many different dimensions, but genetically, like Usain Bolt chose the 100 and he ran the 100 and ran the 100 before he moved to 200.
Well, he was actually 400 runner.
Oh, okay, so 400. But
And
then
then
he
he
changed,
moved to
he
2 and
had to change his training and all
Yeah,
that stuff, right,
yeah,
to move over.
yeah.
So you're going to have to change it up as well if you end up going.
Yeah, well, that's why I
800.
said preseason we do a lot of base work. So it's a lot of fast stuff.
Okay.
That's when we're doing like 500, 600s,
Okay.
running hills, running fields,
That's
like back-to-back 200s. It's a lot of like long distance
Longer
training.
distance.
So
Stamina.
that's why I think that when you run the 800, it's good to run that just for the training part of it. That's why I would do it. I'm not
Okay.
going to do it because I want to run an 800.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's terrible. But
It's crazy.
yeah.
Well, Jada, you know what? I am so excited that you came on the show and really thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're going to be watching out for you.
Thank
And this is, I can't wait because people are going to be watching this and saying,
Yeah.
wow, when is this happening?
Yeah.
And they're going to be following you and get to know you more,
Yeah.
which I think is
I think
so
that's
important.
so important. Exactly.
Because, you're
because
an
I
athlete
think-
on the track,
Yes.
but
But who
get
are you
to
off
know
the track?
who are
And
you
that's
off
the
the track?
thing, like a lot of people are different on the track because you want to walk in there, you don't want to look scared, you don't want to look nervous. So you walk in there kind of with an attitude.
People don't know who you are on the track. They say, has she vomited yet? Something, you know what I mean? But
No, it's better. It's better
It's
now.
better, yeah.
It's just at a point, but
okay.
I mean, like I think this is like the first time I mention it
yeah.
publicly.
It's amazing.
Because I think it's.
But you're open about it. It's life, and
Mm.
it's a beautiful thing because
Yeah.
the experience is what you've been telling people how
Yeah.
hard it's not easy.
Yeah.
At that level it's not easy. But
Yeah, and I think, like I said, it's just important to get to know someone off there because when competition's involved and people's egos are involved, and no one, like I said, no one likes losing. So you put on like kind of like a front.
yeah, 100%.
And like when you're not on the track and and there's not people judging you like, oh, she looks scared when she runs,
Yeah,
But I'm just glad like I was able to work with my sports psychologist, and I would never ever take the part of me that had the anxiety away, because I can't tell you how much I learned.
Wow.
So I would never want to erase 16-year-old me vomiting for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Because I know how to deal with my brain mentally now.
Okay.
And it's also helped me get into meditation, practice breathing.
Skills of
Working with my sports psychologist, I can learn so much from her. She speaks to so many of the athletes. So it's just so much learning that I wouldn't want to take it away. I mean, it wasn't nice vomiting so much.
Yeah.
But I never want to take it away because I know now, leading into a competition, there's a lot of times athletes don't feel nothing and they get, let's say you get to like Worlds and then they freak out. So at least I know nothing's going to get worse than that. And now I know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So if I rock up at Worlds and then suddenly, I'm nervous, I'm frozen, like scared, I don't know what to do. There's other countries here. The Americans are intimidating. Like I know what to do. And luckily for me, as a sports person, I've never been the type of person to ever be intimidated, which is nice.
Wow.
Like I think just
That's
the way I've
powerful.
grown up, the way I mentally am.
And you're having two brothers. No,
you have to be tough.
Exactly. And that's crazy. And we'll get on to more about that because I've heard so many great stories about the family and everyone.
Yeah, so it's nice to just know how to deal with everything mentally because like you said, it's 90-10, literally.
So as the athlete that you are and the great athlete you are, what are you've got people backing you, who's behind you, sponsors, have you got anything happening right now?
Yeah, so I'm with Newton Agency.
Okay.
And Leroy Newton is my agent. Then my physiotherapist is Karen Gibbs.
Okay.
My sports psychologist, Kirsten van Heerden, and my sponsor, Puma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to like find a team who's always there to support you. Yeah. And like I said, even when I'm 30 years old, there's still so much to learn in the sports world.
Of course. Even
when you come into someone like retiring, I really think you're still learning so much.
Yeah.
And especially in the race 400 hurdles, I've only actually ran 11 races in it. So I'm really new to it.
Oh, that's incredible.
I mean, that's nothing. Over 2 years, 11 races, you should run like 12 in 1 year.
Yeah, that's insane.
So, and like I said, it's just nice to be around people like that who who've been working with athletes.
Mm.
And they can, I think my sports psychologist was telling me the other day that Michael Phelps said that when he got his anxiety and his mental things, he literally named it. Like he named this voice in his head. And then I got mine a voice.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And he named this little voice in his head. And he said what he would do is he'd invite it to come sit next to him on the couch.
Mm.
And that way it would calm down. And if you didn't invite it, if you don't let it in and you don't deal with it, it just keeps banging on the door and it wants to come in. And it was like interesting to know that, it's Michael Phelps. And people think like when athletes are standing at that level, they don't get it. And that's when I realized, like, even when I heard Michael Phelps' story and all the stories like that, we all just human. And everyone's going to be nervous before a race. Everyone wants to perform. And that's why I love that I've been able to know how to deal with it. And like I said, just my team has given me advice that, like, it's never going to leave me. It's in my head and that's not going to leave me. And I can just carry on giving it to anyone else I want to help.
Correct.
And that's what I like. And I think that's the important thing of people not keeping quiet about their anxiety or panicking or feeling pressure before races and that, because you're helping so many other athletes. There's been so many athletes come up to me and be like, don't you get nervous? I'm like, no, not at all. But like I'm saying, I'm actually nervous, But again, you just have to put on that front on the track, and then off the track, I'll help them. I'm like, of course we get nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone's going to get nervous. You need to perform. You just deal with it.
Yeah.
And you get the fun parts out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it anymore.
100%.
Because then something else is forcing you to do it. It's not you who's wanting to do it.
And it shouldn't be driven about money. Money should, obviously, it'll come.
Yeah.
It's not those are things. It's about the love.
Yeah, in fact, it's passion.
Exactly. Passion outdoes everything.
Everything. Yeah. That's what I love about sport too. It's like track and field's also just it's a fair sport. If you're putting in the work, if you're training hard, if you're not going out, you're getting your sleep in, you're eating right, your diet's good, your team's good, it's gonna pay off. Like I've come to a time now with the 400 hurdle where I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like I just can't run this race. And it's not that. It's just the fact that I'm still so new to it, and you just need the guidance of the race. That's all. And as you grow, it'll get better. And it's definitely with training, the things we've been doing in training now, it's definitely getting much better. But that's a nice thing about track and field. It's just that if you want to go out and not get your sleep in and drink, you're not going to get the performance. Never. No. And that's why when things go down in this whole like track and field career, that's when that's what makes me feel good. It's like, even though this time isn't coming now and I'm not performing how I want to perform, I know I'm going to bed and I'm getting the right amount of sleep. I know I'm doing the right training. I know I'm eating right. I know like I'm listening to the right things. I'm doing the right things. So it's only a matter of time that the time will come. Yep. This time in the race will come because I'm putting in the work. But when you're going out and you're drinking and like
you're taken away from that.
And then it's like so many athletes like hide it from the team. And I'm like, it's for you. Like you're cheating yourself. Like now when you run a terrible time, I don't want to be the one, like I don't want to ever do that and run a time that's not good, then think, oh, maybe it's because I went out last week. Oh, maybe it's because I went and drank. Like I never want that to ever be a thing, and that's why I've never gone and done it. Wow. I've never had alcohol. Like I've never drank.
That's what that's a discipline factor of success, you know? Yeah. And that's great to hear because, at 18, you're thinking like that. Yeah. So success is on your way. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I got you before you went to Worlds. Yeah, it's cool. Because, you know what, once I see the medal around you, we want to have you back on the show. Yeah, we did. And then I want to know, we're gonna go, I would love to have a journey with you in this, and thanks for being on the show. Like, I feel like I need to go out now, win the medal so I can get back here. Yeah, no pressure. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But listen, Jada, thank you so much. And we're wishing you all the success and God bless you all the way. Thank you. Have a safe journey. Yeah, I will. Travel's not easy this time. I just want to keep saying. Yeah. So travel's not easy. Yeah. COVID's scary. And then we're going to see you soon. Yeah. But we'll be watching on TV. It's televised, right? Yeah. Mnet Supersport. Supersport, YouTube. Okay. Channel Champions. Yeah. Here's a champion right here for us. Thank you. And thank you so much for being on. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been so awesome to know more of you and have you on the show and let's go. Let's win that. Let's win the gold. Let's go out there and
do it, and then hopefully I'll be back here.
You're a champion.
Thank you.
So glad to have you.
You
Thanks.
too. Thank you.
Okay. Bling bling.